Welcome to the Unfuck Your Fitness podcast. I am your host, Christy Castillo, and I'm here to give you real talk and cut the BS so you can actually enjoy building a body you love. I'm a personal trainer obsessed with giving you simple action steps to take you from feeling stuck to feeling sexy. Let's go. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to today's episode. You guys, this is episode number 40. I can hardly believe it. It blows my mind. I'm so excited. I'm so excited that you are here. I am so excited for this episode. Obviously, we had to do a little something different today, being that this is episode number 40 and it's the last episode of the Unfuck Your Fitness podcast for this year of 2022. It's not the last episode ever. Don't worry. That's not what I was going to say. But thank you for being here. And in celebration of this 40th episode, I just want to be real and have a little chat with you. And these types of podcasts where I'm just being real with you and having a little chat with you used to make me so nervous. I think starting out this podcast, I thought I had to make it look like other podcasts where they have tips every single week and a takeaway and like a list for you. And, I thought I had to make this podcast look like other podcasts or everyone else's podcast or the idea that I had in my mind of a perfect podcast. And I don't. So yeah, today I'm just going to chat with you. These are the episodes where I just sit down and chat with you and give you a little real talk and a little insight to my life and my brain and just really speak from my heart. Now, all of the episodes are from my heart, don't get me wrong, but where I'm just kind of literally talking to you like you're in the room with me and you're my best friends and I really, really care and I'm just speaking from my heart. These are the episodes that I get the most feedback on, really saying that you resonated and that you enjoyed this podcast and it was one of the best ever. So I'm just going to go with it. I know you're going to love this episode because I really enjoyed making the notes for this episode. I almost cried during the notes. I second guessed myself, all of the things, but really it just boils down to me being able to be real and be honest and have a little chat with you. So again, thank you for being here. I don't think you will ever be able to fully understand how thankful I am for each one of you. I really do think of you all, even though I don't know, obviously, most of you. I really do think of you all as my friends. I know you are women who are struggling with things that I have struggled with, or you are women who are struggling with things that my current clients struggle with. And so I really do appreciate you being here and trusting me with your journey. And I'll be honest, the DMs that I get from you on Instagram, once you start following me on Instagram and you send me a message saying, I just found your podcast. Thank you so much. And you go on to tell me what you learned from the podcast or what you gathered from the podcast or how it helped you. Those messages just mean everything to me because that's all I want is to be able to help one more woman with their journey. Like I do not take it lightly that you are here. And it's really why I started this podcast in the first place. It wasn't for me, it was for you. And so thank you so much for all of the messages and for all of the shares and for everything that you have helped this podcast grow and that you're getting it out there so that I can help more women. That is the actual goal. So I just want to talk about a couple different things. Honestly, the process of making some of these episodes is funny. I will seriously just like start talking to myself and like, this is just how they come about. So that's just weird to think about, but it is what it is. But in regards to the podcast itself, I was scared to death to start a podcast. I really had the idea years ago, but I struggle with imposter syndrome. I think being in the online space, there's always a woman that looks better than me or that knows more than me or has more degrees than me or has helped more women, whatever the case may be, right? I think, well, who am I? Why don't they just go listen to that person? Well, that on top of a type A perfectionist personality caused me to not take action on starting my podcast as soon as I wanted to, but everything happens in good timing. So here we are. What I have learned is that everything is less scary once you start, the podcast included. That can be in regards to, starting a new job, obviously starting a new career. I would have started this career a lot sooner too, had I had more confidence in myself, but here we are. And so everything is less scary once you start including your fitness journey. By the way, everything is less scary. You can take in all the information and get completely overwhelmed. But once you just start, you realize that like, oh, I can do this too. And that was something I learned from starting this podcast. I was always afraid before starting the podcast that I would say something wrong, like misinformation, literally, or that I would just say something that someone disagreed with. Like, what if someone that I, felt inferior to were to listen to my podcast and disagree with something that I said, or just something, I don't know, anything, when you get in that downward spiral of overthinking, like anything that anyone could think would be wrong or disagree with, like, what if that happens? And I didn't know what to do if I got in that situation. But then the more I thought about it, like I'm starting this podcast to inform you of basically my journey, where I was, what I've been through as far as my fitness journey and where I am now. And then obviously I'll take you with me on my journey of where I'm going and also my client's journey. I'm only one person and I have one journey, but I'm watching hundreds of women do this journey along with me that I'm training and teaching and coaching. So if it's my journey, how can it be wrong if I'm on here saying my truth and this is what I used to think and this is what I used to eat and this is what I did and this is where I am now? Like, who would be able to get on here and tell me that that's not right? So I guess once I thought of it that way and once I stopped second guessing myself and I just thought like, Christy, get on there and say your truth, like say what you want to say. And if, I don't know, if people don't want to listen, they won't listen, but it's not wrong if it's my journey. If I can get on here and show up authentically and I guess that it was nice that this became a place that I could do that as well. It just feels like you're in the room with me and I'm just talking to you instead of maybe social media where it's like videos and pictures and like it's a little more personal. I don't know. So it just seemed like if I can show up here authentically, which has been amazing for me, then it can't be wrong. And so obviously I went ahead and started the podcast and it's been freaking amazing. And I appreciate you all being here. Speaking of the podcast, how it came to be that it was so authentic. And I think that was part of my struggle starting out was like, how can I make this really authentic? I don't want this to just be like another job and another something that I have to do and create content for and like, start to hate it. I knew it needed to be really authentic to me. And so I had a list of names for the podcast. I wish I could remember them. They're gone. But I remember going through and just typing in, I would get on Apple Podcast app and type in health and fitness podcast and kind of look at the titles and get some inspiration. And I think I found like unfuck your mindset or unfuck something, who knows? And I just thought, oh my God, like that is it. I do like to say fuck. And it just felt like, yeah, when I thought of unfuck your fitness, it was like, yes. So I told my husband and I'm like, people, not everyone's going to like this name. There are people in my life that aren't going to like this. Here I am second guessing myself again. And he's just like, it's your podcast. Like that's what you want to name it. Name it. Like that felt like the name. So I went with it. And ever since then, ever since I was able to, I guess, stand up and say, this is the name of my podcast because I like it. I said so. It feels authentic. I can swear on this podcast, but I really am here. Like that's what I'm doing. I am unfucking your fitness. We are making this so simple. I'm saying my truth, what I believe, what actually works, and we're making it simple. And so when I chose that name and kind of worked through all of those limiting beliefs that went along with that, and realized that this podcast is just going to be like my baby and my truth and mine. That was freaking amazing. And so that's being said, like just accept who you are and accept your gifts and accept your talents and show up as your true self. This has been really easy for me. There have been times and weeks where I've told friends or my husband, I don't really love the name or the idea that I have for this podcast. I'm not sure if anyone's going to relate to this. I don't love it. I don't feel like I said exactly what I want. Like I second guess it, but I know at the end of the day that that's okay. I don't have to bring my best self all the time. I just have to bring good information and, tell you the truth. And so that's what I'm doing. And it's been so much easier to do that once I aligned myself with myself, if that makes any sense. I remember my days as, the only way I can really explain this is my days as a Beachbody coach where I was trained basically to say certain things and act a certain way and post certain things and only post at that point in time anyway. It might be different now. Only post, like 5 things that I'm interested in and keep it really simple and only post things that I'm an expert in. It felt really misaligned. Like I didn't want to share all these extra things. I just wanted to get on there and be myself, but I was basically told, trained, whatever, to not do that. And so coming from that, where I had started in this business, in this industry, to where I am now, to where I'm able to show up authentically. And I feel like I'm actually helping you. And I feel like the information that I'm giving you, it is the truth. I know it's the truth, but I feel really good about that. And so it's been really, really easy to show up here and do that because I know I'm giving you information you can actually use and it's helpful. And to be honest, I struggle too. And it's so nice to get on here and say, like, I have been struggling this week. It's nice to show up on social media and let you know that because I'm a freaking human. I don't want you to think that like, oh, Christy's doing all these amazing things. She must never struggle and I'll never be like that because I am struggling. Like, hell no. I struggle so much. And so it's nice to be able to get on here and say that to you as well. Speaking of, just so you're aware, this is where I'm at right now with workouts. I'm going to kind of get into this in a next up on the agenda here, but this year has been really, really hard for me. I have had years where I guess starting out in my fitness journey, I thought I had to show up 100% of the time and be perfect and never miss a workout and never miss my macros and everything had to be perfect. And so I went from that mindset to figuring out that I, don't have to be perfect and kind of figuring out that balance. But I have really not lacked motivation as much as I have lacked it this year. In fact, today I have not worked out yet and I freaking don't want to. And it's just been a struggle. For me, working out since I've started working out 14 years ago, it's been something that I have loved and I have enjoyed. And I have had no problem getting my clothes on, drinking my pre-workout, and going out into the gym and busting through a kick-ass workout. I can't tell you the last time I had a kick-ass workout. It's been months. So right now I'm showing up 4 days a week, getting 4 workouts in a week. They're usually half-assed. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I cry myself through them. I'm not going to lie. I've not been really hitting my macros. Now it's December, so give me some grace here. Not really hitting my macros, not eating enough. I'm eating probably too many sweets, and that's okay. I do struggle sometimes with the fact that like, why do I not have motivation? Why can't I just get up and do this like I used to? What's going on? But it's a journey. It is what it is. And I'm just here to obviously be real with you. So I still don't do any cardio ever. That's just something that I will not do. So my workouts are full body. I lift as heavy as I can. I add some different moves in there. Right now, they're just usually half-assed because life, anxiety, a little bit of depression thrown in there. Life's just crazy. Like I said, I've been crying. Like I've just been really, really struggling, but I'm still showing up for myself. And even though they're half-assed workouts, sometimes that's better than none. So if I can do it, you can do it. On that note, I also do want to be real. Going forward with this podcast in 2023, I'm really excited to have some guests on the show with me, hopefully, some of my clients as well, some more real talk. And like I said, I've really struggled this year, and I've been open about the fact that I've been going to therapy and healing, and just on this journey, I've not been completely open about it, and I probably won't be completely open about it because I want to keep, this is Unfuck Your Fitness, and I am all about fitness, but the health, the physical and the mental side of your body, of your life, it is all fitness. And so I will be real. I have struggled with depression my entire adult life. That's not been something that I think I was even really aware of, and I definitely didn't talk about. But now that I'm aware of it, it's there. And this year has been no exception. And it's definitely been the year that I've struggled the most, I think anyway. Like I said before, I would hide it. And so I've been more open about it this year with my husband, with friends, with family, with social media. And so I don't know if I've maybe struggled this much before and not been open about it, but whatever the case is, it's been harder for me to work out daily. Like I said, I have no motivation. My job and this podcast have made me happy even on the darkest days. I have told people like the only thing that really made me happy today was getting on and doing a podcast or talking to my ladies. Like I can do this, but I know this stuff like the back of my hand and I love helping. And so sometimes it doesn't even feel like a job. It feels like an escape. being open about my depression, anxiety has been helpful to my husband, to my friends, to my therapist, on social media, like I said. And so I want to encourage you with that as well. I know that with me being open about it, a lot of other women have reached out to me and said that they feel the exact same way. Like an alarming amount of women have reached out to me. Shouldn't say alarming. It was alarming to me because I thought everybody else was living this perfectly happy life and I was the only one struggling. And so it was alarming to know that I wasn't alone. But if you're in this situation, talk to someone about it. You'll be surprised who supports you when you're open. You'll be surprised how much more respect and confidence you gain in yourself when you're more open. I am always here to listen. Whether I know you or not, I will support you. You can always reach out. I will always listen. I'm an open book. So if you ever need to reach out to me, I can definitely listen and kind of encourage you to go in whatever direction you need to go with that. But in relation to your health and fitness, I just want you to know that anxiety, depression, those different mental struggles, they are a part of the journey. You can be in the best shape physically. And if you are struggling mentally, it's okay to accept that. You will not be in 100% perfect health probably ever. Sometimes you'll be great mentally and you'll be lacking, in physical strength and vice versa, but they do work together. So please don't ignore one over the other. I did that, I'm sure, for a long time and just thought, just push through these workouts. You can do it. Like, shut up your mind. Just do the workout. You'll be fine. And you can only do that for so long before you completely fall apart. And so just know that there will be ups and downs in your life. There will be ups and downs in your health and fitness journey. And that's okay. That's actually part of the journey. That's what I'm here to be honest with you about is you will never be able to stick to a workout plan perfectly. You will never be able to stick to your macros perfectly. And honestly, if you're doing my programs, the macros I give you right out the gate are my best guess based on your age, height, weight, activity level, the workouts that I'm giving you. Everything's kind of a best guess scenario anyway, especially at the beginning. And so doing your best is enough and learning is enough. And once you realize this is a journey, that even if you did stick to an 8-week or 12-week workout program perfectly, who cares if you're going to quit after the 12 weeks anyways? That doesn't make any sense. That will make no difference in your life except for keep you in that diet cycle. And so it's okay in life, in your fitness journey, in anything to have ups and downs and to maybe have more downs than ups some years. And that's okay. If you keep showing up, I wrote this on my stories the other day. I changed it a little bit, but if you keep showing up, even when you don't want to, eventually you will want to show up again. And if you quit, on my stories, I put, if you quit, then you're a quitter. But if you quit, you'll never know what could have happened. And so you just have to keep showing up. I'm a huge advocate for habits myself. And now I know more than ever that showing up for yourself is so important, even when you don't freaking want to. Even if I just get my workout clothes on, drink my pre-workout and go sit in the garage and stretch, cry a little bit, lift a few weights. It's like I still set aside that time for myself. So when I do feel better or I have really good days, that time is still there. It's still a habit. That's really, really important to still take time for yourself, even when you're in a really messed up place and you don't feel like you deserve it or you don't want to or you don't need to or it's not doing any good. Like it is. That's why it's so important to surround yourself with the best people during this situation as well. So I know this was kind of all over the place, you guys. Thank you for sticking with me, but I think it's really, really important information as well. Again, it's not just about fitness. I kind of talked about having imposter syndrome as far as starting a podcast and encouraging you to do the things that you are so scared to do. If you're doing it authentically and it's vibing with you, then go for it, right? I mean, you'll never know. And so I then talked about how I chose the name of the podcast and decided I was just going to show up really, really authentically to you. And no one can tell me that I'm wrong if it's my journey and I'm telling you the truth about my journey and helping you. That's what I've dedicated myself to and like promised myself with this podcast is that I will always show up here and tell you the truth and give you what you actually need and not waste your time along this journey. And then I kind of went into talking about my own struggles this year with some depression and some anxiety. Again, happy 40th episode to us and a little bit of a random talk here, but I hope that this was really helpful. I hope that you are ready to rock and roll in the new year. I know even this morning when I woke up, I didn't want to work out. I thought, I can't wait till January when the holidays are over and life gets back to a little bit more structure in January, I always feel a little bit better. So I'm really excited to kind of share with you how I will get back into the grind and get back into a routine. Let's freaking hope anyway, and how you can too. So I'm really, really excited for the new year. Please always reach out to me on social media, on Instagram. I am there. My DMs are open. Like I said, beginning of this episode, I freaking love hearing from you. I can't stress that enough. So I appreciate any messages, any podcast ideas, or any suggestions that you have, anything you want to know. I'm here to teach. I'm an open book. So thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in the new year. Thanks for listening to today's show. Go ahead and leave a rating and a review. And of course, follow the podcast so you don't miss out on any future episodes. And I would love it so much if you came to connect with me over on Instagram at Christy Castillo Fit. I will see you next time.